Welcome in, my friends. My name is Ken Johnson. I am your Thrifty Apprentice, and I'm so happy you were able to join us for our regularly scheduled Monday Live. Today, we are going to be working mainly with watercolor in a watercolor sketchbook. I do have a few colored pencils here, just in case I want to add a little opacity color pencils on the top, turn it into mixed media. I do have a set of watercolor pencils sitting here just in case I decide I want to use those as well. So let's talk about today. Here's what I've grabbed. I don't know if I'm using all of this. I just know it's what I grabbed. So here is, inside this little travel set, I have a 24 set of watercolor pencils. Now this is not the most professional set. This is an economical set. This is Cezanne. This is the 24 count of watercolor pencils, which you can get through Jerry's Autorama. It is produced by Creative Mark, which happens to be one of Jerry's house brands. And I think you get like these 24 watercolor pencils for like 12, 13 bucks. It's a really wonderful buy. And the pencils, for what they are really good. They actually are on my recommended product list. I also grabbed, don't know if I'm using them, but I grabbed my Zebra Art clickable, retractable, water-soluble markers, which I've recently acquired and started to play with. There isn't, of course, no review on these as of yet, but you know, so far so good. I've really been enjoying them. I think this set cost 16 bucks for like 12 colors. Yeah, so wasn't too bad. I think that's what it was. And I ended up ordering the one with the foreign writing on it versus the one with the American writing on them because they came quicker. Not sure why. I also grabbed a Mark Art premium color pencil set. Now, I've recently unboxed these or opened these in a Patreon live. I may be using these to top off a little watercolor painting today, turning it into a little mixed media work. Not quite sure yet, but this is a pretty decent set of 120 count of oil-based colored pencils, which is kind of different for me because I typically use wax-based. But if you're a color pencil fan, if you use them at all, you will notice right away that these pencils remind you of Holbein professional color pencils, which I do believe that these and many others are a dupe of. But that's not something I'm gonna jump too much into right now. Believe it or not, we will have, for the first time in a long time, too long actually, because of World Watercolor Month. In all honesty, we're going to be moving into looking at other art mediums and products as we always have on the channel. And this Mark Art Premium Color Pencil Set will have a video coming out this upcoming Sunday. So you can stay tuned for that. And I'm going to apologize to all of my color pencil fans that felt neglected during the month of July. All of my alcohol marker fans, all of my oil pastel fans, because I have not dropped any of those type of videos lately, simply because we was having so much fun with World Watercolor Month. All right, so I have my spray bottle here. Here's the funny thing, I hadn't decided on what paints I'm going to be using. I will be painting inside the little sketchbook we used last week. And I now realize that I did last week's composition upside down, but it is what it is. For this week's composition, I'm actually going to be revisiting something that I painted during World Watercolor Month, which I had so much fun doing. Now, I guess I'm just going to be let me see if I can find a smaller clip right quick. I really kind of wanted to take this down, but we're not gonna make time for that. I'm just gonna clip it down, taking up as little of the paper real estate as I can. And we're gonna be painting that koi, or in this case, a koi carp. Hello, Corinthians. Everybody say hello to Corinthians. Welcome to the live. Let's see here. What am I think I'm gonna start off this painting with using graphite, and I'm gonna tell you why. Let's grab a one of those watercolor pencils. What did I do with them? Just that quick. Watercolor pencils. Where did you go? Here we go. So I'm gonna grab a gray watercolor pencil to get this started off with. And I'm going to be using that gray pencil to sketch. Maybe I should use an ink tint pencil so that it won't move. Maybe that's what I should do. Let's see if I can spot them. As you guys know, ink tints, when they dry, they are permanent. So I'm going to actually grab, do I have a gray in here? I do not, but I do have an indigo blue. Yeah, I really wanted a gray to draw with. So I tell you what, I'm gonna actually grab just a regular pencil because I kind of want my lines to stay here. And in this original piece of artwork, I just kind of drew out some rocks so that we could have some kind of surrounding the koi here. Some bigger ones, just so you can have a few rocks in the koi pond. Not too many. Maybe he'll swim around some of these. And if you are not the best at drawing rocks, don't you worry about it. You just draw you a couple of circles in there. They're gonna come out to look like they should. And then I'm going to open up this graphite paint. Now, if you don't have graphite paint, any color that you have that has a slight granulation to it, like maybe your paint set has an ultramarine blue in it, right? So take your ultramarine, mix it with like a burnt sienna, a burnt umber, so that you can kind of get you a granulating sort of gray. And that's pretty much what we're going to go in and use to paint the rocks. And I'm going to actually, excuse me, start off painting that because we need that to dry so that we can move on. I'm just going to grab, where is my brush? Here, I grab this dagger. I think this is like a 1/4 dagger. This is a Crystal Rice brush. And I actually already have the color I need here on the palette from the previous painting that I did using these. So I'm just gonna go in and throw in some gray. Once we add the blue to the top for the water, it's going to mute those down. This is not something you have to be too worried about being detailed with because this is not your focal, right? You just want to give the impression that you have some rocks that are going to be sort of like under the water. And your koi's body will be halfway above the water. And I'm really not being too, careful with this. It is what it is. That's the reason I decided to use the graphite, because I did not want the lines to disappear. Just giving the illusion that there are some rocks there. Now, I will be posting, like I said, a traceable for this in Patreon if you're a Patreon member. So you will have access to download this and give it a go, give it a whirl. Or you can just sketch it out, Some of you are wonderful drawers, so, you don't need my little traceable. I've seen some of the artwork in the paints, pencils, pastels, and markers group, and I'm going to myself, okay, I can't believe some of these people are actually following me. That's amazing to think. Absolutely amazing to think. And I'm actually making those more water than pigment. All right, let's give that a moment to make sure that everything is dry. I'm not sure why I did that. Did way more back there than I intended to. All right, you can still tell it's a rock. Good. All right, so I'm gonna leave that be. We need to give that a second to dry. All right, my friends, we're gonna switch over here and we're gonna grab some. I need a paint. I need a palette. I need a palette with mixing room in it that I do not have to clean anything. Y'all know I'm lazy. Okay. It's sitting here, it's getting used. Actually, do I want to use this? Okay, guys, so you tell me, do I use the Shapiro, if you're here live, tell me, do I use the Shapiro Farben set? Do I use the paint set inside the Bamboo Voyager palette? So we can use that today, because I have all of my little go-to palettes sitting here on the corner of my desk. Let's see, I have my Bamboo Voyager palette, which is filled with the Core and the Daniel Smith and the Mealing Pretty Excellent. We have the Shapiro Farben set. Here I have the, this is strictly Daniel Smith. This is all Daniel Smith. So we have a Daniel Smith. Can't use that one yet. Here we have my handmade watercolors, which are the Poems About You, the A Gallo Italian, and the Julie. I'm going to learn the name of the company, Julie Watercolors. So there's that set. And then there is the granulation set, which has, let's see, Rosa Gallery, Van Gogh Dust Granulating Colors, and some Schminke Super Granulating Watercolors in it. So, hey, jump in the comment real quick. Jump in live real quick. Tell me which set should I use to paint today's live. Let me know real quick. I'm going to check comment sections, and we'll see what happens. All right. Who's new? Anybody new? Tisa, I need the line and wash set. I don't have any desire to buy graphitent during products, so that combo is the best sample product. I completely agree. I think that line and wash set is going to be wonderful for people who just kind of want to sample what maybe ink tints is like, maybe sample what the graphitent is like, maybe sample what the pastels are like. Because you're going to get, I think you get 2 graphitent in there, you get 2 pastels in there, and then the rest are ink tints. If I'm not mistaken. I'll have to look again, check this out. All right, let's see. I got one reply with the Bamboo Voyager so far. All right. Bamboo Voyager. All right, that's what I saw first. I don't see any other votes on it. So I guess most people are saying I don't care, just paint. So that'll work. That works for me. I'm gonna grab this palette out of here to mix on, so I don't have to clean too much. And if I end up mixing some of that Shapiro Farben leftover paint in, then oh well. So inside this palette, my friends, I'm gonna spray it down real quick. Just jumping off screen because I don't want to spray anything. All right. Let's kind of wipe the water off my wood here. All right, and let's jump into it, friends. So, do I remember what colors are even in this palette? Let's see, this is, let's check. That looks like ultramarine. What's this? That's definitely phthalo blue. I'm gonna water that ultramarine down. Add a little bit more here. And then I'm actually going to start brushing it directly over everything. This is actually just water that I'm adding, I'm being careful not to scrub as I go over my already painted rocks. And I want to go all the way up to my fish so that he looks like the top of his head, or well, that the topper part of his body is sticking out of the water. Now, if you are a masking fluid fan, it would be my suggestion to get the masking fluid and mask off the perimeter of the fish. You know, that would be my suggestion, but I'm not a masking fluid fan, so I'm not going to be doing that. And I'm just going to grab my ultramarine and literally just paint my background. I want this to be sort of a flat wash. If by chance you have texture in it, that's wonderful. I'm just trying to give the appearance that everything is underwater. Now, I want to be very careful next to my fish because I do not want to color any of the actual fish in. I am going to cover his tail just a little bit though. Grab a little more ultramarine, mix in my wash there. And again, I'm not really worried about his fins. I just don't want to go into his body. I'm going to make sure to get the fin, as a matter of fact. And I'm going around. I'm picking this sketchbook up because it's so small. I don't typically like pick my sketchbooks up, so don't feel like it's something you have to do. But this one, I can do this with. It's kind of convenient and small. Now, the only fin I'm not going to go over is the top fin. What is that fin called? I don't know the anatomy of fish. So if you're a fish lover, don't be mad at me that I'm not calling the name of the fins. I don't know fish like that. I don't know fish like that. And I'm just darkening up because I know it's a wet wash. So there's going to be a bit of a shift when it dries. Oh, that's phthalo blue. I don't want phthalo. I just want ultramarine. Making sure I get all my edges. Cool. Think that's pretty good there. That looks like water on top of rocks. We got our little koi. Yes, get out your bamboo Voyager palette and paint. Yes, ma'am. Love it. Love it. Tisa is one of the artists and community lovers who have purchased the bamboo Voyager palette and has currently been using it. Christy unboxed hers on the channel. I was really grateful for that. I did have someone make a really great suggestion. You know, I'm not a huge art company, and I only have one product, so it's not like I have PR boxes that I can send out, and I have to be careful because every single palette costs me, right? So, but I do need to follow a suggestion that was made and send out a few of those palettes to maybe a few other YouTubers who would be willing to review them. And of course, I would want them to, give their honest review. So, yeah, I played with the water quite a bit. I wanted to. All right. I think I was able to avoid the white areas of the fish that I needed to pretty well. This is a hot press paper. I've noticed that this paper tends to dry a little bit quicker than like some other papers that I use on a regular basis. So we only need to give that like seriously a minute or two to um to dry, and then we're gonna jump right back into it. Let's jump into getting this cart done. If you guys haven't seen the example painting of the cart, I'll show it to you. The original painting was done back during World Watercolor Month. Here it is. Kind of staying away from being exactly the same, but this is the first time I painted this, so this is the direction that we are going in. I'm just gonna sit that there over in my corner. Yes, Catherine, I agree. It is very, very interesting how people have different tastes, different things they like to draw. And even in that, you know, two artists looking at the same thing will not see it the same way. That's what makes art so great. That's why I always use phrases like my opinion, I think, I believe, because I know that my word is not written in stone. Every artist is different. You may can take something from what I'm saying and what I'm doing. Maybe you can't. Maybe I can take something from what you're saying and what you're doing. Maybe I can't. All right, let's mix up a little orange here. Oh my goodness. It's so bright. That is so bright and pretty. I'm going to be using, this is not lemon yellow. This is bismuth. I think that's what it's called, bismuth yellow. And I want to get, see, sort of a more yellowy orange, not necessarily as red as that. And I really feel like I might want to switch brushes. We'll see in just a second. But that's definitely core. Just the way that flows. That is core, I want to say fiber red. And I'm mixing in Daniel Smith, that bismuth yellow. And I'm not really worried about contaminating my yellow. Don't freak out, friends. That's a really bright orange. I'm going to add a touch, and I do mean just a touch of ultramarine to that. Maybe too much. A touch of ultramarine. I want to just kind of dull that down just a little bit, like so. It was really bright. All right, let's go in here and start with, I wonder if I should wet this. Do I want to wet this? I think I do. I'm gonna wet the fish. Avoid the fin. You can wet the eye if you want to. I'm not going to, because it's going to be black. I'm just going to wet the body of my fish. Help the paint flow a little bit better. And then I'm going to go in with orange, starting on the opposite side under the eye. Kind of take it back to the main fin. And this is going to kind of encompass quite a bit here going down. And I'm just kind of looking at the placement of my orange here where I put it the first time. And I'm definitely adding enough color to compensate for the color shift that I know is going to happen because I did wet the area first. So you do want to kind of always keep that in mind. I'm going to go back against that fin. It's going to come down a little bit in this direction and come back up towards the eye. Okay. I want to get a little bit, just a little bit right here in this area, which it wasn't in the original one, but I just feel like that's cute. I didn't mean to make that a line. So let's grab a wet brush and kind of blend that out a little bit. Soften it up. We don't want any harsh lines. This is a hot press paper, so I do need to be careful of that. And I definitely want to basically get pretty much all of my kind of fin area here. I'm adding a little bit more water to that than maybe necessary. And then I'm gonna kind of whisk my color in at an angle because it kind of looks that way on the fin. Let's see, all of this ends up connecting. And it won't be exactly like the first one, which is perfectly fine, but we'll still get the point, right? And I'm already starting to kind of put in detail. As you can see, I'm taking the very tip of that dagger brush. And as that area dries, I'm just kind of going diagonally with that color. And I'm just gonna, like I said, make sure I add enough to account for the shift. Let's see, how am I feeling? How are we feeling? Do we feel okay with that? I think we may feel okay with that. I'm gonna give that a second to see. I think that's okay. I could actually go ahead and do, because the only other thing to really do to the body is add in the dark striping. This is actually a pretty easy composition, if the truth be told. We just kind of get and I want to blend out any harsh areas. Grab my studio rag here. And to keep from eliminating the white, when I blend those harsh edges, I'm grabbing the color on the end and pushing back into the color that's already there versus in a circle or going into the white, because I don't want to lose that white area. Same thing here. Softening those lines, pushing back up into the color that's already there. All right. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. We're going to give it a second to dry, and then we can move in with the next layer, which is going to be adding in the black stripes. Believe it or not, we are getting crazy close to being done already. Now here, this is a cold press fine grain or medium grain. Is it fine grain or medium grain? Didn't say. If I had to say, this is a fine grain, actually. And then that is a Gallo handmade Italian watercolor. So that ultramarine blue that I used here had an intense, crazy amount, and I do mean an intense, crazy amount of granulation to it. And you'll also notice that I didn't put nearly as much shadow on the rocks that are here as I did in the original painting, simply because I really want the attention all on the cart. This is just background noise. Let's move on. Need to make, let's see, next we're going for our darker tones. This is basically being made from ultramarine and I'm gonna use burnt umber, simply because burnt umber gives you a cooler gray than mixing ultramarine with burnt sienna. I just need to find a brush I want to use. Here we go. I'm gonna grab this number 2 round. This is the Happy Painting Christy Rice brush. Great control. Love this brush. Love this brush. Comes to a really nice point for a small round. And let's mix up with some gray here. We're going to use quite a bit of ultramarine. And this is not the greatest brush for mixing, but these core paints flow so much when you put them into water that you can make quite a wash really quickly, even with a small brush. And I don't need a lot. This is not a huge image, but I am going to mix up enough to make sure that I don't run out and I don't have to remix. Into that ultramarine, I am going to go for, what is this? Okay, that looks like, what is earth red? That's definitely not burnt sienna. Okay, that's burnt umber, I think. Let's see. Okay, yes, this burnt umber, that's Van Dyke brown. Yeah, I remember putting it in here. And then that's Payne's gray. Okay, so let's go with burnt umber. We're gonna mix that directly into the ultramarine. And it's gonna give us sort of a Payne's gray color. The more blue you mix into it, the darker it'll get. But I'm actually gonna grab some Payne's gray and mix it into there. If I had Prussian blue in here, I would mix that in too. I love Prussian blue. All right. Hopefully that's gonna be dark enough. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with, let's see. Let's start with this back fin area. And basically, we're gonna kind of trace where our fin starts. Okay. And then I'm gonna make small gestural lines kind of pulling out straight, just like that. You're gonna follow the angle of the fin. Not gonna do too much. Don't want to cover up too much. And then we'll do this. It'll go out towards and down in the same direction of the opposite fin. Just like that. Not too much, nothing crazy. And before you know it, you're good. You have your fin in, done. Quick and easy. We may come back to darken up a little bit more. And as you can see, like, the difference in how certain paints mixed. Here, that seems almost black, and I use the same mixture. Here, I can definitely tell it's a little bit more gray, but I'm a Payne's gray fan, and I like that. However you mix yours is going to determine how it looks. So now let's see. Let's do... We're gonna block off this area back here, and then what I'm gonna do is just dot. Just gonna dot it. I may even go ahead and trace that front line of that dorsal. Is that what it called? Is that what it's called? Somebody tell me what this fin, the fin on the very top of the fish is called. Somebody tell me what it is. I know I have a group full of, a community full of very smart people. I cannot think of what it's called. Somebody help me out. And I'm stippling. I'm using the stippling effect just to get some texture back over there. And then I'm actually going to bring it. Let's go ahead and I'm going to actually put that entire fin in. Maybe I should have put the fin in first. All right, now let's see here. We're gonna have quite a bit going on around this eye. So let's go ahead and get this in. Get some, and I'm making small dashes, small lines going up around that eye. And then we're letting it go backwards. I'm watching the spacing that I have. And just moving, just basically following that line back into the top of that fin like so. And then I'm gonna stipple just so it carries over from the other side. I'm gonna stipple, and this entire, let's see, and then that's gonna go all the way back to this white area, and it's gonna be thick, and it's gonna get thinner, smaller as it moves back here. And to cover up the bottom part of that, I just stipple so it looks like the rest of it. Let's see. That was coming from here. And then we're gonna have, let's see, a few little indicators coming back off the top of his head like this. Like so. All right, let's go ahead and behind the eye, we'll curve around the front of the mouth. Now, I'll be honest, I had to work that part out. I should have covered that up with blue. I'm gonna have to go back and do it again. I always do that, but that's okay. And then I want kind of a color patch right here on the front. You don't have to do it. You could have done these in pretty much any color, I guess. And then we'll have a nostril here. And we will have one over here. You can't really see. There we go. I need the bottom of that to round out a little more. Go ahead and put in the eye. And I want the reflection to be towards the front. So I'll paint in all of this. And I'll leave the reflection in the eye right there. I need to get that super black, super dark friend. Like so. And then I want to get the opposite side the same. The opposite eye. Super dark. Make sure that it angles into them. You know, that line that makes the mouth. Don't let it stop. Make sure that line continues in and you won't see any sparkle in that eye. Okay, so let's see. Jumping in comments right quick. See, I love Payne's Gray too. Dorsal fin. Dorsal fin. Okay, so I thought it was dorsal fin. I didn't want to really be wrong, but okay, dorsal fin. Thank you so much, Morena. Am I saying that right, Morena? Or Marianne? Marianne. Y'all know I'm terrible with names. Let's see. But thank you so much. I study human anatomy and work with animal bones, but dorsal is fin. On us, dorsal would be our, but and back fin would be kind of, but fin, I don't, or I agree with Miranda, see dorsal, but fin is tick turn. Okay, okay. So this big one, we're gonna call it the dorsal. That's how I'll refer to it moving forward, so you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, let's move on and draw in. Let me see now. This eye needs. It needs its little swoop. And don't ask me why that little swoop is there. I don't know, but it's there and it's cute. And it was in the original painting that I was following. So now I want to carry the black all the way back to this fin, and then we'll make it meet from this area going backwards. But let's start with the let's start with the back of the fish. Let's do. We need a couple of little dots going along the dorsal, and then those dots are eventually going to start turning into stippling spots, which will turn into little. I'm just making little dashes, and I'm following a line all the way back, keeping it about the same size, not making any area too much bigger than the other, all the way to the fin, the tail fin, to the tail, to the tail. It'll go into the tail like so. Not too bad. And then we will have all of this. Okay, I need to. What I want to do is from about, let me see, here. Actually, all of that's going to end up being black, but let's start it here. And I'll trace that backwards. And then this entire area will be whisked, lined in just like so. And I'm hungry. I always get hungry doing live. You would think I never ate. And on all of that covered and closed, let's go ahead and put in from here back. And it's gonna actually get smaller as it meets into the beginning of that part. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. And of course I could spend all day doing this because I super detailed, light touch, make thin wispy lines. All right. Let's go ahead and knock out that fin. As you can see, it's moving pretty quickly at this point. We're gonna knock out that dorsal. Now I am going to go across the top of it, and I'm gonna wiggle just ever so slightly. I'm wiggling my brush as I move backwards. I'll reinforce the line, connecting it to the body. And then the rest of this is really just a matter of how you want to do it. You're going to be dragging that color up into the fin. Keep it wispy on the top so that the color doesn't actually, form a complete block of anything. And you'll get smaller as you move back the fin to the end of it. In some areas, the fin will actually reach the color will reach all the way up to the top of the fin. Then it'll break. Then around this part, you're definitely going to get a lot of, there we go. Twist that in. I'll let it go all the way to the top there, break back down. Let's make it a little bit different from the previous fish. And then we are going to do the side fins here. I'm gonna trace those in on both sides. You have a different perspective there because of the way the fish is turned. You'll actually see more of the front of this one here. And it'll look a little bit more angled on this one. Let's go ahead and do this side. And we're just gonna just add a little detail into the fin. It doesn't have to be much. Right? Yes, indeed. Oh my goodness, y'all should hear my stomach. That's hilarious. Okay. Yes, I laugh at myself. Laugh at yourself. Let's see. I need to keep these kind of angled. You want to kind of keep these angled with the direction of the fish. See, didn't require too much. Yeah, so hungry. I am, friend. My stomach is sitting here growling. The only thing I can think of is, I sure hope that they can't hear that. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Okay, I want to fix. That's gonna bother me because we're gonna end up putting some. We're gonna end up putting. I'm gonna grab. And see, that was just ultramarine blue. So I'm gonna grab a little ultramarine. I'm gonna see if I can dry brush this in. But keep in mind, the background was wet when we originally painted this. So you may be able to see a little difference. I'm gonna see if I can get rid of it. And then that pencil line is still there too. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to erase that out. I think I'm gonna be able to disguise it though with my when I draw in the whiskers. Or maybe I should put another layer of blue in the water and make it darker. You know what? I think I'm going to. Actually, let's darken up a little bit more. Let's take it a little bit more. We're gonna take it a little bit. We're gonna make it a little bit deeper. You know, we can do a little bit better, right? I feel like I can do a little bit better with this painting, so I'm going to. Let's drop in some shadow on that rock. Give it some shape there. And same thing here. Let's see here. Let's make that one shape like that. And we'll shape this one. Okay, not bad, not bad. Let's see. That's a big one than I originally expected. And this one under here, I want to give it a little bit more color. It has more of a flat top on it. Well, see, that just gave it a little bit more dimension right off, right? Don't we like that? Don't we like when we can get dimension? Kind of make the, kind of made the whole, gave it just a little bit more oomph. And see, just that much instantly kind of changed the way the composition looked. Yeah. It's so funny how just a few more details, just a few more details can completely change the way something appears. All right. I'm gonna get it a second to dry, and then I'm probably gonna cover that with a little bit more blue. This would be darker. This would be darker because it's facing down, right? And the water is coming in through the top of the pond. So because that rock has a flat surface, it would be darker under here because this wouldn't be getting any light at all. Yeah, I feel that. I feel this, and this one would be the same way. This would be really dark under here. All right. See, that gave it a little bit more dimension and body to the whole painting right away. I'm gonna give that 2 seconds to dry. Then we're gonna cover that with another layer of ultramarine blue. Just because I want that water a little bit deeper. I also may throw a little yellow for some sunlight reflection in it, being super careful actually. Let me see something. You have to be super careful with that. Let me clean, because I had some orange in there and I didn't need that orange. I'm just gonna take Daniel Smith paints and core paints are so rich and vibrant. I'm just gonna, it's gonna turn green when I put the other ultramarine in it. So I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop right now, and then I'll probably dry brush a little yellow on the top once the next ultramarine layer dry. I just want those. Well, this paper dries so fast. That's so cool. I don't have to wait. Cool. Let's grab some ultramarine here. And this time we're gonna get a little bit. This time I'm painting wet on, wet on dry. I didn't wet the paper this time. Just to make sure I get. And then I'm sure the texture of this paper has a lot to do with the difference in the way they look as well, because this is hot press paper versus the first time I painted this, it was cold press paper. And I'm not normally a hot press paper painter, as you guys know, so I'm having to adjust to the dry shift. But that's okay. I don't mind. That's what learning is all about. There we go. Grab a little bit more of that ultramarine. Ooh, oh, it's core paints. Jesus. I love them. I mean, but they will take you for a whirlwind if you're not used to core paints. I mean, they flow all over the place. You have to be ready to deal with those paints, no doubt about it. You have to remember that they are the artist and you are the puppet. You just follow along with whatever they want to do. Basically, how that goes. Okay, I think I'm much more satisfied with that. And it makes the carp stand out more now that we have some darker wash in the background. Pretty much done, my friends. Here's what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna give this time to dry real quick. I'm gonna brush some sunlight in there with a little yellow. And let's see what else we need to do. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. And I don't scrub when I go over those rocks because that is not ink tint. That's graph tint, and graph tint will reconstitute after being dry. So I'm just being sure not to scrub over any other rocks, just brushing over them lightly. All right. Now see, that made the carp stand out much more. That made the rocks stand out much more. We got a better looking composition. And the only thing I need to do now is give that time to dry to brush in a sun kiss on top of the water. And then we're going to put in the uh, whiskers for the carp. That's pretty much it. Oh, it just dries so fast. It becomes not necessarily dry so fast, but it becomes workable so fast. I love that. I like this paper. I got this off the Lightwish site. But I noticed once it got here that it was just the Potentate, that brand. You see it actually a lot on like Temu and AliExpress. It's definitely a Chinese brand. I am used to their sketchbooks. I like their accordion sketchbook, which is where I originally fell in love with accordion style sketchbooks from. But Lightwish must be the distributor for this company in the US. Just like they distribute what Mealing, Pretty Excellent, Paul Rubens. Um, so yeah, their website or was it Amazon? Either way, is listed under Lightwish, and it's 100% cotton. Nope, sorry, it's just hot press. It's not 100% cotton. This is not the same pad. But either way, I've done quite a few paintings in it now, and it has made me believe that I might actually like hot press paper. So I think that's a good thing. Again, my friends, don't forget that if you are here, go ahead and give this video a boot. If you jump in and even if you don't stay long, still sprinkle a little love and go ahead and hit that thumbs up so that we can get this channel moving and grooving, moving and grooving. All right, I'm grabbing some bleed proof white. Now, if you want to use a white gel pen, by all means, go right ahead. And I'm going to draw in whiskers that'll float behind. And he'll have some pretty long whiskers because, you know, he been around for a minute. He done seen a couple of carps come and go. You know, he put a little some on the ground for the homies because he been around a while, you know. He can tell you about the ancient Japanese samurai carps and all. So I'm just thickening that up just a little bit to make sure you can see it. Just completely different outcome on the hot press paper than it was on the cold press, no doubt. And then we're gonna have some coming over this way, and you know what? We'll just back like that. And there, and there. Now I'm just gonna make those a little brighter so you can see them. Alright, it's not too bad. I'm gonna put a little white just to emphasize his little eye. Didn't really need it, but did it anyway. Give him a fish eye. Make sure it's kind of extended a little bit there. Yeah, friends, that's pretty much it. Add some white back into that tail, break up some of those lines. And this is a good way to, if you feel like maybe you went a little overboard somewhere with your inking, you can go in and add some white in just to kind of break up some of those areas. A cute trick. And I think I'll put a little highlight on his fin here. And you won't really be able to see it. It'll stand out as being white. That's okay. And on the end of this fin, and then maybe just a little bit at the top, although it stayed white, I think against the black, you'll be able to see the difference. Because that would all be sort of reflecty above the water. All right. That's a wrap. Didn't take too long, not too bad. I'm gonna sign that big baby. Let me find me a pen real quick. And see, I like the rocks now. They're diffused and they look like they're under the water, but they still have shape. You can still see shape, which is what I wanted. All right. I'm gonna sign this little baby over here in the corner. And that, my friends, is our easy little demo for today. Keep in mind, you will have access to a traceable of this in Patreon if you're a Patreon member. And if not, then feel free to grab you a screenshot and then just trace the shape of the carp and go to town. You do not necessarily have to put the pattern stripe that I used on yours. I'll just hold this up next to the original so you can see. And you can see the difference between a cold press paper and what it looks like on a hot press paper. I think they both came out nice. If I had to say, oh, I wanted to put a little sun kiss on there, didn't I? We're supposed to do that. We're supposed to put just a little to make it look like, and see that yellow really didn't green up a lot, and I like that. This is that that sort of like bismuth yellow from Daniel Smith. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's greening a little, but not a lot. And then it's water is reflecting in as well. So having that green tint isn't terrible, and you can still tell that it's like sun hitting the water. Love that, love that, love that, love that. Just a little bit here and there. There we go. I wonder what Christy Rice's neon yellow would have looked like in there. I bet you that would have stood out so well. Yes, I know, I know. Most people don't, a lot of people don't like neons. I understand. I get it. I do. But I get a lot of people don't. I understand. But there. Not too bad at all. Jump in the comments, jump in the chat, let me know what you think. Um, yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Let me know that you paint. And if you did paint, how yours turn out. Don't hesitate to jump in. I mean, you can post it on Instagram and tag me in it. You can post it on Facebook and tag the Thrifty Apprentice in it. If you're part of Paints, Pencils, Pastels, and Markers, you can post it in there and tag me in it. But I would really love to see, what you guys did during today's paint along. Again, if you're watching, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. If you already have not, it will be greatly appreciated. And it'll just let me know that you enjoyed painting along with today's live demo. Patreon, we will be meeting and greeting tonight at 8, and we're going to continue working on some plant life, maybe flower life. Whatever we do, we're going to have fun and paint together, as we always do. And of course, I will walk you through every single detail of what I do for a little bit more in-depth instruction. And we actually may draw in Patreon tonight as well. I haven't decided. I think I want to do a birch tree landscape, but I want to do a really, really huge, big birch tree landscape. And I don't know. We'll see. We're going to get there, though. All right, my friends. Thank you so much. Let me check the comment section. Make sure that there's nothing else. Thank you, Amy. I really appreciate that, my dear. I feel like it turned out. It didn't quite turn out the way the first one did, but this is a different type paper. And I still like the smoothness of it. I like this paper, though. Like, this paper is pretty cool, and I love this little sketchbook. Someone won one of these. Whoever won week 3, was it week 3? No, whoever wins week 4. So it must have been RV Mush. I think it was a part of, it was a part of the giveaway package that actually has the Bamboo Voyager palette in it. So that week 4's winner will get the Bamboo Voyager palette with one of these sketchbooks, and you'll get 6 A Gallo handmade Italian watercolor paints to start off your Bamboo Voyager palette with. I think it's pretty cool. All right, my friends, don't forget to boot, love, share the video. Sharing is caring. I'll see my Patreon members tonight. Don't forget to set your notification bells to catch the review release on Wednesday, as well as the one on Sunday. And as far as lives are concerned, it is my hope that I will see you guys back here next Monday. I have to be truthful and say that I have a dentist appointment set up for this Wednesday. Depending on how that appointment goes and what they decide to do will determine whether or not how future videos go, especially as far as me talking in them are concerned, and that may also affect lives. So I don't know. I'm not going to go ahead and schedule next week's live yet until after I see the dentist on Wednesday, and then I'll know what to do about scheduling next week's live from there. Now, If I do end up having to have some major dental work done, which will put me out of commission for talking, then it may reduce the amount of lives that I'm able to do for a couple of weeks. Now, it won't stop the release of Wednesday and Sunday's videos because if nothing else, I can always put music in the background of a tutorial or a demo. But I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out. I just don't know right now what's gonna happen. I just want to put that out there in the atmosphere so that all of the Defiant Art Thrifty Apprentice YouTube channel community members will be aware of what's going on, just so you won't be surprised of any small changes I have to make to the lineup just for a short temporary amount of time, depending on what happens Wednesday when I see the dentist. With that being said, I really, really appreciate you all for joining me. Happy painting, and remember, as I tell you at the end of every single video, just keep creating.